Hello, my name is Steve, and this is the first video in my entry for the Great Guitar Build-Off 2021. Welcome to my workshop, or as my family calls it, the side of my garage, crammed full of tools and scrap wood. I've been a hobbyist woodworker and a guitar player for a long time, and a few years ago I started combining those interests into repairing instruments, some broken headstocks for some friends, and my favorite, restoring an 1895 bullback mandolin that was cracked and crushed from high-tension strings. And encouraged by those successes, I wanted to build my own instruments. Starting small, I built a ukulele from scratch, then the body for an electric guitar out of plywood. I started this bass last year, but it's not done. So my first complete guitar from scratch will actually be the one for this contest. I can't believe I'm starting this now. Today is June 12th, so I have less than 3 weeks to get this done. I better get started. I do a lot of tinkering and creating random woodwork projects. I try stuff just because I think it would work. For this guitar, I'm not going to cut the body out of a solid piece of wood. Yep, I've got a nice bandsaw right here, but I'm not going to shape the body with it. Nope, it's not going to be epoxy resin either. I want to build up the body using small diamond shapes called Penrose tiles. Here, let me show you what I mean. The most basic Penrose tile shapes are these diamonds, or a rhombus actually, cut at very specific angles. This one is 72 and 108 degrees, and this one is 36 and 144 degrees, in case you really want to know. Just those two shapes fit together in an infinite number of patterns. You can do simple flower shapes like this, or you can mix and match and get all kinds of crazy patterns. These are from a test that I did cutting up a 2x4. The challenge here is to cut a lot of small blocks to very exacting standards. The sides all need to be exactly the same length or they won't fit together nicely. This will seriously test my table saw skills. I want to use two contrasting colors for the two diamond shapes. So I'm going to trim the light colored edges off of this slab of pecan that I got at my local sawmill for one of them, and use this piece of cherry for the other diamond shape. Pecan is just right at about 1.5 inches thick, so I cut 1-inch wide strips with the circular saw and ran them through the planer just to clean up the saw marks. You may notice that the maple is only 3/4 of an inch thick. Well, when your resources are limited, sometimes you have to get creative. So I cut strips 1.5 inches wide on the bandsaw, and turned on their sides, it matches the thickness of the pecan, and the edge grain becomes the top. The cherry on its edge wouldn't work really well in the planer, so a bit of hand planing cleaned them up. Here are the strips ready for chopping up into diamonds. Well, I tried a few cuts on the table saw and I wasn't comfortable. The pieces are just too small to cut safely and cleanly. So I had to get creative again and make a jig for the bandsaw. It's a little sled that fits in the miter slots. It has a brace at the angle I need and a stop block to make sure every piece is the exact same size. This one is set for the 36-degree angle. I'll just tighten up this brace on the sled and we can start cutting. If my calculations are correct, I'm going to need about 100 of each diamond shape out of these strips. So here I've changed out the angle block to make the 72-degree cut, and I've taken a piece of the cherry and I'm matching it up here, adjusting the stop block so the size matches when I cut pecan. Once I got the setup right, cutting the pieces really didn't take that long. I ended up with 88 pieces of the pecan and 129 pieces of the cherry. They looked pretty good coming off the saw, but I did a little cleanup on them anyway. I really just waved a bit of sandpaper near them. I want to make the edges sharp, but I don't want to change their shape at all, or they won't fit together. Time to check and see how accurate I was. Not bad. All the sides match up pretty well. Now let's see if I can fit them all together to shape the guitar. Well, this may take a while. This is a good place to stop this video for now. The next video will cover working on the fretboard and gluing all this together. I'm going to need a bigger bottle of glue. Thanks for watching.